Well, Bentina, the second part of day 3 in this trial began with the family's attorneys trying to link the multiple companies to be responsible for this crash. They ended, though, with a blow to the defense, having Megan herself as well as her father take the stand. Visibility is really almost non-existent on the roads right now. I do not advise people on the islands to drive around. It is really just us right now and Metro Police that are in this area actively riding the roads. Breaking right now, some police officers have entered this residence through the back door. Motorists will need to practice safe and alert driving, especially this weekend, as GDOT plans to completely close down the main line of 204 here, and they're going to reroute traffic from that intersection over here to an on and off ramp and another intersection as they begin to do more work on King George and 204. Yeah, Bentina, you could definitely call Port Wentworth a problem area right now. We have traffic lights out all across the city, and right now here on Bonnie Bridge Road, you have police that have closed off this road because of flooding. I'm going to move out of the shot real quick and let you guys take a look at the situation. And Bentina, really talking to neighbors out here, they're just amazed nobody was killed. And in fact, only 1 or 2 people were hurt during all of this. This is what the scene is right now in JC Park, right here in the middle of Tybee Island. It is a pool rather than being a park. Crime scene investigators on the scene, still seeing trails of blood as a result of that shooting. Now what I can tell you is we can confirm a shooting has taken place here in downtown Savannah along Bull and Oglethorpe. Good news is the tide is going out. It was taking it a very long time from when it needed to go out, but fortunately it is at this point doing its natural flow in and out of Turner's Creek. And one significant number that the study showed that more than 90% of visitors to Tybee drove here along Highway 80. And the importance of that doesn't just show the increase of tourism on Tybee, but the need for increase in highway safety for folks getting here. These bridges are still open. If you guys are thinking you are stuck on the islands because of bridge closures, that is not the case. The Thunderbolt Bridge specifically is open at this time. Big surprise, Bentina, here on Tybee. Many homes actually not damaged significantly because of the storm. It's more of fences, it's more of yards, but there are snap trees, debris all over the place. But really, we only saw 2 or 3 homes that had trees on top of them. So what exactly does 150 feet look like? Let's measure it out. And standing right here outside this 2nd District polling location, more than 150 feet. But you can make this a whole lot easier by just going online to the Chatham County Board of Elections. The wind pushing the rest of the roof down over here to another set of condos here at the Beachside Colony on 3rd Street. Still, as you can tell, I'm on the Ferris wheel here at the fair. It is still going on. Gates close at 10:30, rides close at 11:30. You can still get out here and enjoy a little piece of what is soon to be history here in Savannah. The party is in full swing, and of course, so will be the struggle getting to and from here. The casualty count from the cobblestones, that is unknown at this point. And Richard's family lawyers asking for an amount of $25 million, no less than that, for compensation in this case. The defense attacking that number, saying no loss of wages claims or medical expenses from Megan Richards were issued as evidence during this trial. All new at 6, I'll bring you guys any information I can on whether or not this jury will make a decision this evening. Now reporting live in Pembroke, Andrew James, WSAV News 3.
Anytime you get employees to keep complaining about the same department head, are the same supervisor, that's a flag to me.
A big enough flag that now commissioners want to revise the operating agreement between the county and the Live Oak Public Library System.
And it's our job and the Board of Commissioners' job to make sure that we have library systems operating correctly. Again, we're investing nearly $7.5 million.
The vote comes after a summer audit uncovering various problems within the library system. Things like accidentally depositing nearly $1 million in a former employee's bank account, overpaying a former director more than $1,200, and personal payroll documents found shredded as used as filler for gift bags.
We need to get our act together. We need to go through the audits again and again and again to solve the problems that were brought up.
Even though they're not a county department, their audit is a part of our audit. So we have an obligation to make sure it's correct. If it's not correct, then our audit's will not be correct. That's a problem.
Now begins the 6-month period for the board to accept a new draft agreement from commissioners that County Manager Lee Smith says will focus on more accountability by the board and transparency from library departments.
The library very much welcomes a revised memorandum of understanding, but it does need to include all the parties. It needs to include the regional board of trustees, the trustees from each of the counties. And
Believe me, if I could take this back, it would definitely be undone. I hope the best way.
An exchange of apology and forgiveness between the man and woman whose lives changed forever in April of 2015.
She's got forgiveness in her heart, and she wants to heal the wounds that were created, and that was part of the healing process. I was very glad to see that.
It's a healing process that a Bryan County jury has now awarded $15 million to help. The 4-day trial included long hours and emotional testimonies from both John Wayne Johnson,
trying to get the fire out. It went down momentarily, enough for me to see that there was a person sitting there that, well, I don't want to describe it just, but based on what I saw, this person was deceased.
and Megan herself.
Sorry. I live this every day.
Richard suffered what was first diagnosed as a concussion from the deadly crash. Then that changed to a mild traumatic brain injury.
The injury to this area of the brain would be consistent with the type of deficits that she is experiencing.
Over the course of the trial, the defense had its victories, as did the family. Attorneys tried pending Johnson for looking at his phone. Insights from a forensic analyst were debunked, though, from the defense. What was clear from evidence, he never slowed down.
Does this have anything to do with who is controlling total transportation on an operational basis?
No, it does not.
Then there was the argument about who all is responsible for Johnson driving that truck. It was owned by U.S. Express Incorporated. His tax forms had the same company on them, and he himself, on the day of the crash, told officers he worked for Total Transportation, but everything goes through Express. The jury decided they all were liable.
She had glass in her hair, bruised, cut. I'll never forget that. That was pretty rough, seeing that.
That was the argument the family attorneys made in the end, that she will never forget that day or those girls.
Megan can now get closure, and she can get her life back together, hopefully, and begin the healing process.
In Pembroke, Andrew James, WSAV News 3.
I haven't seen any action, and action to me is somebody securing that property again.
Since March, Tina Brown has seen the vacant home next door go from blighted to a possible crime haven.
I think I saw 2 drug deals out back, and I was like, wow, really?
The house has a broken window and front door cover pried off. City spokesmen say it could be related to the fact that a company is trying to sell the home and potential buyers need a look inside. But what Brown is seeing looks more criminal in behavior.
People are using that property, and you can't be using that property for good. So I called 311 and told them that I thought that prostitution was going on over there.
So that's when she was put in touch with Metro Police. They've answered more than 17 calls to the property in the past 2 years. They're actually trying to get a citizens agreement with the owners to be able to watch the house.
The property owner, they released the permission for us to actually patrol the property and go in at any hour of the day.
If you're seeing someone literally breaking and entering, doing criminal behavior or suspicious behavior, the call really should go to 911.
But Brown feels her 3 calls to 311 and a talk with Metro Police should be enough red flags.
But I don't want to have to call 911 when it becomes an emergency. So, again, fix it.
Well, Ben, it really is a tale of fighting for your life. The Bohannons had no other option but to take cover in a ditch in their own front yard when the skies went dark and wind tore through Zor Road.
She said, all right, let's go to the ditch.
Jamie Bohannon, her husband Jimmy, and her mom Kay had to act quickly Sunday morning.
I have no doubt in my mind that it was a tornado.
There are no lower levels in the Bohannons' home just off of Zor Road in Baxley. When a tornado warning was issued, they went outside and ran for this ditch.
Hey, I was glad to get to that ditch. I was afraid we weren't going to make it at one point because it sounded like the roar was right behind us.
Jamie's husband covered both of them as rain and debris flew through the air.
I thought about my children first thing, and that I had recently told them that I did love them.
They thought the worst was about to happen When it all was over, their home was still there. A damaged roof, but livable.
I am so thankful.
The days to come bring a lot of hard work for neighbors in Baxley. Bohannon adds, though, with it comes a lot of thanks.
In the aftermath of this devastation, I can see how people pull their strength from their faith in this, because most of my friends, they talk about, we've got trees down, tree on our house, but we're thankful.
Now, within the next day or so, we should know if, in fact, a tornado did cut through the Zoar community here just outside of Baxley. And Ben, Tina, really talking to neighbors out here, they're just amazed nobody was killed. And in fact, only 1 or 2 people were hurt during all of this. For now, reporting live in Appleton County, Andrew James, WSAV News 3. Visitors to Forsyth Park captured more than history walking past the Confederate Memorial, as it was the scene of a silent protest.
Right now, there is a big kind of movement going on and discussion in many cities about the Confederate monuments.
The discussion Savannah grad students want for these monuments, valuing preservation before thinking demolition.
We were very concerned about reversibility and not causing any damage, yet opening a public dialogue, and I think that's what we've done here.
The tape was removed later in the day by Park Police. Students say the markings around the monument are chalk-based and removable, but what they want to make permanent is that the public not turn a blind eye to removal of monuments.
The big message is opening a dialogue to talk about historic preservation, Confederate monuments, and erasing history.
Now, the protest does not suggest any monument is up for demolition right now in Savannah, and while it is state property, students say they made sure not to damage the memorial, keeping with their practice of preserving history, no matter the context.
So we're hoping that this would bring attention to it in a non-invasive way and a non-destructive way, and hopefully that's what it did.